Yeah, so on this course, I've really, in a couple different ways, I've had my eyes opened to being a leader. One way was really challenged by some questions I got about being a woman in the wilderness.
We're SROM, Solid Rock Outdoor Ministries. We've spent the last 30 years training people to be leaders in the wilderness. This time, we're taking a group of SROM veterans on their own course into Red Rock Canyon and the remote Grand Canyon to go deeper and live 15 days in the wilderness.
Get up, we'll fight the darkness right beside you day in, day out. Forget the days behind us now. You are here to stay, yeah.
I'm ready for the adventure.
Here are our stories in the canyon.
Just being a woman in the wilderness, I've never really thought about it as something that's abnormal. In my own mind, I'm not limited. Like, I believe I can do whatever I set my mind to.
I just like a boy.
Woo! Nice job. I want you just to notice your breath right now.
Even how I got into it, so growing up, I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, and so I have a sister and then 2 older brothers and then me. Loved outdoor recreation, climbing, backpacking, all those things. But it was very much this thing where like, that is something really natural for, in our gender stereotyped world, for boys to invest themselves in. But I feel like I had to really fight for that. And I think that is a general sentiment of women in the world.
There's a big push lately for women to be outdoors, right? And I'm trying to better understand why women haven't always been outdoors.
I think in a lot of ways, our culture has formulated our women to not be brave and to actually focus on being perfect first. And so you have to be perfect as a woman in our culture, so then you can't fail. And a lot of these activities, you need to fail to get better. You need to risk. And I think sometimes the environments that there is in the world is not safe for a woman to be brave.
So I think it's really exciting for our girls on our course because there's been a lot of growth in that.
Okay, cool. So trad climbing.
Okay, so 6. Should have 6. When you're climbing, you're trusting the equipment, you're trusting the belayer, you're trusting your physical ability to keep yourself on the rock.
Like you were surrounded by people, and I really honestly.
This route is called Tonto. It's like a 3 or 4 star route here at Red Rock. It's very popular. It's a 5.5.
I feel like I feel a lot of the emotions that I have felt in my life while rock climbing. Like fear, trust is a big one, doubt, struggle, power, defeat, confidence, overcoming emotions you feel throughout your life, you feel while you're rock climbing.
You think I should play something?
If you're in a good stance and you have opportunity.
I don't really feel like I am.
Okay, then keep climbing.
Before you rock climb, while you're rock climbing, after you rock climbing. I'm starting to realize that, and it's helping me to love rock climbing even more. Yeah, so we're placing anchors as we go, and it's kind of the idea of one step at a time. In sport climbing, 1 bolt at a time, 1 quick draw at a time, and here, I mean, it's a lot spookier to me to have to navigate the rock and really be intimate with the rock in a lot of ways, figure out how big, the crack is and which equipment to use and how big it needs to be, how small it needs to be, and trusting that where you place it is going to hold you if you fall. I think a lot more trust in placing this equipment than placing a quick draw with sport climbing.
Yeah, Callie.
Yeah. You do you.
I want to see those guns.
How do you feel?
Feel great. Very accomplished.
Allie, how did that feel?
Oh, great. It's a little surreal.
Give me some of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That was really cool. I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I was trying to get out of it a little bit in my head, and then it happened, so. I like it.
In culture, there's these norms that even as women, we start believing. Like that, well, a guy that looks like he is a mountain man and chops down trees probably knows more than a woman like Bubs, right? Who is like the senior instructor of this course.
Hardware, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
And there's these like associations with knowledge of the outdoors that are not accurate. They're placed because of norms or because of like what we typically believe.
When I began to get into this, I had a lot of things speaking into my identity. I'm a pretty confident person in who I am in Christ, and so in that, there's a lot of ability to be brave. And so I'm really passionate about this. I'm really passionate about bringing women into this. First big climb, you're gonna do great things. I have your back. Okay, take as long as you want.
It's finding the niche for every person, and there are places that need to be empowered. And I hope, and I really intend to do that for both the male and the females on this course. Like, I think that's the same across the board. I'm not doing that one in a different way than another, but I just think sometimes what I've noticed is that women in this field need a little more extra gumption for that because there's been a lack of that.
Get up on a rock now.
And I think what's beautiful too in our course is that we have men empowering women to be women and women empowering men to be men. And like it's both, it's mutual and it's vice versa. And it's this holistic community approach.
When I was talking with you guys the first time when I was, you know, demographics of like where I come from and my age and stuff, I talked about that I want to build confidence and I want to be bold.
Just the way your voice speaks to me, the voice that the Lord has given you that speaks to me is mind-blowing that you don't realize you have that. And I just think it's like so awesome. I love hearing you speak. And it might not be as often as a lot of people.
You don't even know how powerful you are.
Yeah. You don't even know.
You don't even know. I think it goes back to your intentionality. When you do speak, you want it to be meaningful and you want it to be powerful. You don't want it just to be words in the wind.
Mm-hmm. But what you speak is so much life. It's just really awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we can all learn a lot from you.
More light, let's go.
Yes.
Shine it.
Shine in that light.
Shine it bright.